Welcome to Was It Good? I'm Ravi, joined by Krishna and Arjuna, and as always, Mr. Michael's in the producer's chair. Guys, today we're talking something a little bit different. No one particular movie or TV show. Instead, we're going to take a kind of hard look at Hollywood, the box office, and what's happened since the start of the pandemic and COVID, and where we're at right now, and dive in a little bit to what certain directors, actors have said, and just kind of give our overall unwanted, unbiased opinion on Hollywood. But before we get there, guys, I want to give you my 60-second pitch for Hamilton.
Oh, my God.
The musical.
The musical you swore you would never see.
Correct.
That you swore that you already hated.
Correct.
Because you hate all musicals.
I do.
Because emotions and music.
Yeah.
I've been in a musical before.
So
That's
obviously,
why we hate it.
Obviously, Hamilton is a musical by the great, talented Lin-Manuel
Miranda, yes.
Yes.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I like to call him Lin-Manuel.
Just call him Linny.
Linny.
No, it's
Lin
not
for
Linny.
short. Obviously, it's a musical, a play that you go and see in person. There are these things called live moving actors and props and things.
For sure.
They did release a version, a digital video version
Disney Plus.
on Disney Plus. Have either of you taken a peek?
No. I've seen the trailer and I've seen I think a couple bits of it, but I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
I'm shocked by that, Juna.
I mean, are either of you into musicals? I know, Christian, you're not.
Yeah, I definitely like musicals.
Yeah.
Actually, the last musical I saw was the theatrical version of In the Heights, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda's latest movie, which is another musical that he had that was on Broadway and such. That was made into an actual movie, not just like a digital version of the on-stage production.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you my 60-second pitch of why, hold on a second here, of why, you ready? You should not see this theatrical play in person.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
At night.
Start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. So Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton, a Broadway musical spectacular, is visually beautiful. Lighting is so well done. The singing, the music, it really, when you're in person and you're hearing this and you're seeing this, emotions are brought to the surface. And that's my first point as to why you shouldn't see this in person. If you're going to cry like a little baby, you shouldn't have to do that in front of random strangers. That's not fair. That should never happen. You should do that in the comfort of your own home. Nobody wants to see that. My second reason as to why you should not see this in person: squeaking. So oh my God, I'm running out of time so quickly. There's a lot of squeaking going on because of their feet on the floor. It was tons of squeaking. It was very fucking annoying. And then number 3, we're still unfortunately in a pandemic, and the Pantages Theater required proof of vaccination, but they didn't actually compare to any ID, which is a load of bullshit.
Time.
So that's my reason why you should not see Hamilton in person and stick to seeing it in your home on Disney Plus.
I have a question. So you actually liked the musical?
Loved it. It was great. It was fantastic.
That's the news here. That's the real news, that you actually liked a musical.
I just want to confirm something real quick. So are you meaning to tell me that you broke down or crying like a blubbering idiot in the theater?
Just imagine Ravi going.
I will, if we go back and we play the tape, I said you should not have to suffer and cry in front of strangers. That is what I said.
I would pay a stupid amount of money to have seen that.
So therefore, Krishna and I have been not just not persuaded to not see it. We have now been persuaded to see it and take you with us to see it, to see you cry during the performance.
I don't know if I can go that far, Juna, but
it's too late. I ordered a private theater for the 3 of us to watch it with the original cast, not even the new cast.
Wow,
the original cast.
You have a lot of pull there.
You have a lot of money.
Yeah, I just made it up. So.
But in all seriousness, it was a fun experience, and I was genuinely surprised at how much I enjoyed watching it and seeing it in person. I'm not a big musical person, as you both know. Growing up, our mother dragged us to the opera many, many times.
That's not a musical, though.
And it doesn't matter. There's singing, there's
people,
there's music coming out. That's a musical. I don't care how uneducated or silly I sound.
We also had to go to multiple musicals that I was in.
Yeah, exactly.
middle school productions.
I mean, those were fun just because
You've forgotten the worst
you
part.
kind of you knew who's in them, so you could make fun of them.
You know the real reason we don't like musicals, though, Ravi?
Why?
Because of Bollywood.
Oh,
Mommy has
yes,
watched
Bollywood.
So many Bollywood
That's true.
movies where there's music and emotions,
And
but it's not
singing.
just emotions. It's the most
Love.
exaggerated emotions,
Yeah.
and they really just milk it for all it's worth.
Speaking of milking for all it's worth, Hollywood.
Ah, oh, not Bollywood.
Not bothered. Hollywood and their theatrical releases and COVID. So we're now in year 2. What is this? Season 3? What would you call it? Season 2? Season 3 of the pandemic?
It's season 2.
Season 2?
This is like season 2, where like
The end?
We're coming near the end of season 2. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Right?
I get. Well, what season 1 started March
Yeah.
of if 2020.
Oh, so maybe we're halfway through season.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Halfway
Yeah.
through season 2.
That would make
Rising
sense.
action.
Yeah.
So a lot of things obviously changed. When the pandemic started, a lot of America, a lot of states and areas shut down, went into lockdown. The idea of people gathering, especially in a theater, closed environment, you're very close to individuals. That thought was very scary to a lot of people, still is very scary to certain individuals for good reason. Theaters were obviously not the smartest thing to go and have running and doing. In order to protect their assets, studios delayed releases of a shit ton of movies. To name a few, Black Widow was delayed a bunch. Free Guy was delayed a bunch.
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi was delayed as well.
Basically, every movie that came out this year was delayed.
And we are still seeing delays, right? Like a couple right off the bat. Like Dune was pushed back a couple. It's now pushed to an October release, but again, that could be pushed later.
Top Gun is
Top Gun is
another
now
one, I
that's a
think,
2022 release
yeah,
now.
so I think that's over 20 months that it's been pushed.
Yeah, almost
I think
2
It
years.
was originally supposed to come out in 2020.
Shit.
So that movie has been pushed back a lot.
Poor Tom Cruise.
And we just found out today, Venom,
Poor
Let
Tom
There Be
Cruise.
Carnage. That's been now pushed back to October 1st.
No, not pushed back.
Oh,
pushed
Delayed.
up.
pushed up. Sorry.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
that was
sorry,
been
what?
pushed up.
Yeah, so that one's is now in a different category, potentially influenced by the success
Yes.
of Shang-Chi.
Do you think so? Let's talk about this. So the reason Hollywood is pushing a bunch of movies back is because theaters are, early in the pandemic, theaters were not open. Then when they did reopen, it was very limited in terms of seating. AMC and a lot of theaters, when you would go book your tickets, you would have spaces between seats, between rows. Very nice experience because the theater was at like 25% capacity, which was great because, as we all remember from Shang-Chi, you get the idiots in front of you that laugh at everything. Ruins the experience. So they pushed back everything quite a bit. Now that things are normal, depending on who you ask, we have theaters blasting out movies and so forth. We have things like Black Widow that was both released in the box office and then also on Disney Plus. There's also a lawsuit happening. But then you get films like Shang-Chi, which was only a theatrical release, and at the time of this taping of this podcast has just blown through, I believe, 80 million worldwide.
90 million domestically.
90 million
Holy
domestically.
shit.
Holy fuck.
Wow.
Which breaks, I believe, Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day
How?
record of I believe set by Halloween, the movie.
Wow.
What?
Just because a lot of blockbusters typically
They're
do
not coming
come
out,
during
yeah.
Labor Day weekend. It's normally the last weekend. Yeah,
I
the
saw-
family gets away with the kids before school and all that fun stuff.
I saw an interesting tweet, and it wasn't by any kind of insider or anyone connected to the biz, but they made the observation that with Shang-Chi's success, it saved the current release dates for Eternals and No Way Home. Because of Shang-Chi's success, it's very unlikely that those two movies will get bumped from their current spots, barring obviously something catastrophic, which could definitely happen.
Yeah, look, I think Disney is in the enviable
Driver's seat.
position and driver's seat of like they can dictate.
Set the market.
They can dictate stuff because they have built this behemoth of studio in
Must-see
Marvel.
movies.
In Marvel, where people will go and see it because I think there was a big concern with it exclusively being in theaters that people weren't going to show up and see it. And even when the Thursday night take came in specifically, it opened up to less than Black Widow, right? I think it was 9 million. Black Widow was around 12 million. So people were like, oh no, like Black Widow came out in theaters and on Disney Plus, and the Thursday night was different. But it went the opposite way over the weekend because people did end up going to see it.
So do we
versus not seeing it?
Do we know? So again, at the time of the taping of this podcast, I don't know if you guys know that Shang-Chi has not been approved for a China or a Chinese release yet.
Ooh, wow.
Do we know, was Black Widow, when it was released, did it have a Chinese theatrical release right away, or was it delayed? Or, again, has that even been released in China?
It's a great question. I honestly do not know the answer to that. If I had to guess, I think it did have a Chinese release, but again, that's just
the other question I have for our fact checkers too.
Put the checkers on it.
If Liam, if you want to check this one, does China have Disney Plus? And if they have Disney Plus in China, do they also get the same type of release schedule that we get, where Black Widow comes out in theaters, it also comes out on digital? Because I know because that in itself is kind of interesting, because typically the Chinese box office makes about 15-20% of the overall box office worldwide, revenue, right? Christian's got some information for us. Let's hear it.
So as of this is the latest I could find, just on a quick Google search. As of 4 days ago, Marvel is facing a potential blockade in China, which threatens at box office bottom line. And
is that just overall?
Includes Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals and Spider-Man No Way Home. So those movies none of those 4 movies have release dates.
Interesting.
As of right now.
Wonder why that is.
I don't know.
That's a curious one. Yeah. Because you would think, Shang-Chi takes place in China. There's a lot of...
Well, part of it does.
Part of it takes place there. There's a lot of... I would think that China would like a movie like that because it's
American made.
It's American made, sure. And it's all American studios and everything behind. So I guess that might be that might be the big thing there. That's interesting.
I'm sure it's the distribution of the Disney relationship with China, and there's obviously been some things.
A lot of things.
The last year or so that's been going on there. So
yes.
I doubt it's more to do with the content and more to do with the relationship with the studio and the company as a whole.
So when we're looking at specifically Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Scarlett Johansson and her folks, I guess.
Her team.
Her team
PR team.
have a lawsuit against Disney stating that because it was a release on both Disney Plus and theatrical, that she lost out on potential earnings. Based on the fact that Shang-Chi is doing so well in comparison, do you think there's some backing now to that lawsuit?
There might be. It's all going to depend on, obviously, the final numbers and everything. And I'm sure Disney will argue a certain way that, Shang-Chi was going to do financially better because it's a new property. It's, quote unquote, more excitement, more connection to the MCU present versus like a past, going back into the past of the MCU, et cetera. They're going to argue a certain way. But I do think there is ammunition of like, hey, look, this movie didn't have a Disney Plus release and made a certain amount of money.
Broke records.
It's made a lot of money. It obviously has a lot of hype around it, and you just kind of wonder, did Black Widow miss out on that a little bit? Now, also, there's a lot of factors to it, right? I feel like the state of the world is a little bit different from July to September, just in terms of
more people are vaccinated.
Well, not even that.
In theory,
I think the perspective is still different too. Like, people are more willing to go out and do stuff now than even they were in July. Now, whether that's the right or wrong move is a completely separate topic, right?
I think it comes down to the individual,
and what's going on and stuff. But there are more people out and about, right? Life is returning a little bit more to quote unquote normalcy.
Beyond that, though, forget about the whole COVID thing. If you look at the 2 movies in a bubble.
Sure.
Black Widow, when it came out, the main character is dead in the MCU timeline. It's a character we've already seen. Now, yes, they did introduce 3 brand new characters, a whole host of new characters, but it's still based on the protagonist is still a character that we've seen, and she is dead. Shang-Chi is a brand new character, a brand new setting, brand new everything.
It's post Endgame.
It's post Endgame. It's a new
Moves the narrative forward.
It moves the narrative forward, and it's like people were excited about it because it's something new, something fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with like the Disney Plus shows too, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are excited for that because again, it's post Endgame.
Moves it
and
forward.
It moves it. Yeah.
So-
Disney ran into the same issue years ago with Solo, right? One of the issues that Solo was a good movie that we all actually enjoyed, but it didn't make a ton of money
Made nothing.
because it was about a character who just died a few months, a year plus before.
Yeah.
Or a couple
Well, get
years
attached
before.
to a guy
and-
where you already know the fate.
yeah, you kind of know the fate. And again, it did a
get
similar
it.
thing of like, it introduced us to a new cool young version of Lando and a few new characters like Kira, who was potentially supposed to do more in this greater Star Wars universe. But
And Darth Maul.
yeah, exactly. Like
Actually, I was typing in Darth Maul on my phone because I talk Star Wars every day.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my phone auto-corrected Darth to Fatty.
Fatty Maul.
So it said Fatty Maul.
Wait, is that a thing?
I don't know.
That's
we
interesting.
gotta make it.
But it was weird.
that takes off your behavior. So
I know.
Yeah, that's weird.
you tell us what you're texting.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, do you think the Stormtroopers are looking a little fatty? Hey, fatty.
But yeah, I think that's part of the reason like Black Widow might have struggled. Like I do think it might have. I do think it would have done better in a if it maybe had come out later, like maybe now or in the next few months as things potentially start to open back up. But
it probably still isn't doing Shang-Chi.
yeah,
numbers,
I
right?
don't. Yeah, there's a ceiling to movies, right? Like if you go back and look at Ant-Man, that movie was never going to make $1 billion.
No.
Okay.
It's
Like,
about an ant.
Paul Rudd,
Man.
everybody loves Paul Rudd, right? He's
Right.
America's sweetheart. The guy was not. The movie was not.
I thought
gonna
that was
pull
Jake
in-
Gyllenhaal.
No.
Who knows?
No.
The movie was not going to pull in a massive amount of money. It's still going to pull in good money, right? And Black Widow still pulled in good money, but there's just a certain ceiling to certain stories, and that's not taking away from ScarJo. That's not taking away from the character. It's just it's just the simple fact that people are going to care less about a movie that takes place in the past
And a dead character.
and a character that is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And,
Do you think-
And they've been adamant is not coming back.
Yeah.
right? Now, if they were like Black Widow's coming back, that movie would have done way better. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
Because
Maybe,
people were
yeah.
like, this is going to move it forward, and this is going to show us maybe
Yeah.
how she comes back, right?
Yeah.
But because they were like definitively like she's dead, she's not coming back, people were just like, cool, I can give this one a skip.
Yeah.
Or I can watch it on Disney Plus or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have to immediately go see it. Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
people are like, this character's important. He's really cool. Here's Simu doing all these interviews.
First Marvel martial arts movie.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. There was a lot of like positive things.
Well, also, like,
going-
Simu did an amazing job on social. Like, his
yeah.
on social and in
his
the media
social
rounds.
like his social game, like promoting this movie, and even after, like, I don't know if you all saw on his Twitter page, he found a stock image because he's obviously
he did the stock.
he
stuff.
did
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
the
yeah.
stock stuff like a lot of actors do when they first come to Hollywood. And there's a stock image of him
At
with
the head of
two
the
other
table.
people
Yeah.
looking at a computer screen and laughing. And he
so
posted
many
that
good
saying us, laughing at the people who said this was an experiment.
If you guys are ever bored, go on to Twitter and just look up the Leo stock memes. There's so many good ones. There's like one with him at the head of the table, with like people like Photoshop the rest of the Avengers at the table with him at the head. It's so good. But like he honestly did like an amazing job to promote the film. So did Aquafina, and like there was a lot of enthusiasm about the movie. Versus like the Widow crew didn't get to do as much of that because things again were more closed off. They also taped that movie 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson had like
yeah.
basically probably moved on from her Marvel stuff in a lot of ways. So
Which isn't a bad thing. Like,
no,
Simu is starting his Marvel career.
Yeah.
And he's made a great impact. He's made us all excited again for the MCU. Scarlett Johansson has other projects that she's working on, other areas to focus. It's not a bad thing that she's not promoting
they're
or whatever.
different parts of their
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
Like her Marvel journey is over.
Yep.
Right. His is just like you said, beginning, and he's kind of being positioned to be kind of like the next Robert Downey Jr. of the MCU in a lot of ways. Just in terms
I would
of,
Not
say
Doctor Strange?
to specify though, are you talking like Robert Downey Jr. off camera in terms of like behind the
Yes.
scenes? Okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think he has the charisma and that
definitely.
that enthusiasm to be like, here I am, and I can do fun stuff.
like
and I can talk about it.
What Robert Downey Jr. did for like going on late night shows
For sure.
and doing like little gags and stuff.
Think about how important that was to the beginning of the MCU. Like, you need someone to sell that stuff. I think he can do that, I think, versus like anyone they really currently have on staff, quote unquote. Like, I don't see Benedict Cumberbatch being able to like do that type of stuff. I don't see Brie Larson being able to do that type of stuff.
I see like between
like they can do some of that in a limited capacity.
I see between him
don't
and
think
then
he's excited.
Tom Holland as well.
Tom Holland,
Sure.
for sure.
Tom Holland, I think,
Remember,
is another one.
He's a
He's a
Sony
Sony
employee.
For now.
He's an unwilling Sony slave. He wants out so
Just
bad.
say Sony
He's a Sony
slept.
sim.
Real quick. How much? This is a joke. How much credit for Shang-Chi's success should Bob Chapek claim from his comments? Should he claim anything? Should he get like? Did he light a fire under some people like to
Christmas
get them to
party,
go?
Disney Christmas party 2022. Simu and Bob Chapek are in the room.
Oh my god!
Bob comes up to him with a drink in hand, hands it to him, and he's like, "You're welcome."
And then he disappears into the
chuckle.
night.
He goes off in a puff of
disappears.
smoke like Count Chocula.
Exactly.
You know, part of me wants to imagine that Disney has like these, control rooms with machines running all these hypotheticals, and the machine and the people are like, okay, Bob Chapek, you need to say this,
Like a Matrix.
and then we'll do this, and then this is the result, and da-da-da-da. Like, I want, like, so badly, I want that to be the case.
Like a
but we
speech
all
tree,
know,
Basically run by AI.
yeah, but we all know that it's just dumb fucking luck that Bob said what he said. It
think
was
it's-
taken this way, and
No,
da-da-da-da.
it's not luck. Like Arjuna said off the top,
Yeah.
the beast is so big
Yeah.
that there are enough eyes on it where the story will get spun every single way.
Right.
Every single way. Anyone that says anything, you're going to have the pros and the cons and all the in-betweens. So Disney can't lose.
And
They just can't.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is so large and successful at this point. It would take 5 straight box office flops to like have a serious conversation inside that building of like, we need to change it up. You know what I'm
And
saying?
even though, and that's the thing though, is even if you had the 5 box office flops, you would do kind of what Star Wars has done, which is we're going to stop releasing all the movies.
Sure.
We're going to, bunker down, redo everything, pump out a couple of things here and then rebuild.
the franchise is still
Yeah.
it's so strong. Like you like Star Wars, even with the cinematic failures of the sequel trilogy, it still made a fuck ton of money.
Oh yeah.
It still made a lot.
Like
for
think
the
about the
company.
merchandise alone.
The merchandise is still there. They still have strong properties in The Mandalorian, in Bad Batch, in all of these
Lego.
other types. They still,
Well, no, I bring up Lego
Yeah.
because the trailer for the Halloween Disney Plus
Oh.
Lego Star Wars special
I saw
dropped
that.
today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's this weird thing where they're a Mustafa and somebody related to the Hutts, another Jabba-looking fatty,
Wabba.
makes basically a Darth Maul like horror museum.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then there's this creepy dude that like tells the dark side of like all these stories. So like, well, what if Luke fell to the dark side on Tatooine because he decided to join up? Like Wedge tells him, "Oh, you want to get off Tatooine? Go and become a TIE fighter pilot." And then he runs into his dad. Like it's
they're gonna
weird,
do
goofy ass stories
Lego
like this.
Star Wars one.
Yeah,
What if?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be like I'm
be
gonna
hilarious.
watch it and love it because it's not canon, which is fine,
And it's just fun.
and it's
They're
just
fun
fun
movies,
and
yeah.
goofy. So that'll be fun.
The holiday
We have-
special was fun.
We have Visions coming in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
God.
again, I don't know. Like,
There's
it's
so much
weird
content.
because I'm reading online on like IMDb that it looks like it's all coming out once.
Yeah.
I'm seeing though that's gonna be week to week.
I think it's
I have
all
no
at once.
idea,
I
but
think,
we'll see.
according to Wikipedia.
If it's all at once, that's
be
gonna be the
awesome.
greatest.
That would be awesome.
When I looked at Wikipedia,
Time of my
I had
life.
I had the episodes and it all had the same date.
Did you go into Wikipedia and edit it before?
Yes.
Hit yourself really hard in the face so you forgot.
Well, fun fact: Simu Liu is doing a voice for one of Visions.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool. I did not
yes.
know that.
Yeah, I looked at they released some of the voice.
He's got that
cast.
Disney contract.
It's that Disney synergy.
He's got the Aquafina.
Scarlett Johansson's also doing
bag.
a voice.
Is she really?
No.
Oh.
She is not in that Disney circle anymore.
No, she with
is
this lawsuit.
She is firmly
Oh my
outside of the
God.
because she was supposed to do a before it was Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the Twilight Zone. What was it called? The Tower of
Tower
Terror.
of Terror, yeah.
She was attached to do a Tower of Terror movie.
We don't need that.
for Disney. And from what I read, she is no longer attached to that movie.
Does Disney World, just side note, does Disney World still have Tower of Terror?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
What would a Tower of Terror movie look like?
Tower
Scared.
and Terror and
Is
Scarlett
there a story
Johansson.
behind the ride? Like, is there? I
Yes.
don't remember.
Isn't it based
The
off
Twilight Zone. It's a
episode?
Twilight
Oh,
Zone
it
thing. I don't know if it's
is.
based off an actual episode.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be its own separate thing or whatever,
Tower
but
of
like
Terror.
it is in the Twilight Zone genre, if you will.
Interesting.
Oh.
But yeah, anyway, we said all of this about delays in movies and everything, and now obviously the success of Shang-Chi has made a certain little company called Sony, it looks like, bring up the release of Venom, Let There Be Carnage now to October 1st.
Right. So it was supposed to come out in September. They had delayed it to October 8th. And then a few days ago, they announced, hey, there had been rumors as well that they were going to push the movie
Even further.
to 2022. And then they're like, hey, we're not doing that. In fact, we've heard your pleas.
Who's pleading for this?
Krishna is clearly
No,
pleading
no
for
one
this.
is-
That we're going to move it
No.
up a week to October 1st.
It's gonna bomb.
Uh,
It's going to bomb.
For some reason, they think Venom has the same,
No.
and they have the same,
No,
you
they
know,
think
cash.
No,
It's
yeah,
Disney.
they think people are like back into movie going mode, and they don't realize that people are going to be very selective about the movies they're going to see. Let There Be Venom or Carnage. Sorry, fuck.
Let there be Venom
is one that you would wait. That is the perfect movie that you wait for streaming. It is
Yeah.
not worth going to a theater for. I'm just sorry, it's not.
I
You
think,
don't die for that.
I mean, I think like we've talked about with movies, like we are in the age of we're in the age of the box office like billion-dollar industry, right?
Mhm.
And we saw that pre-pandemic where a lot of studios were like, we're doing the $200 million movies or we're doing the $2 million Oscar movie for theaters, and you had really lost that the middle ground, right?
And
The
then
middle
Venom
class-
came
the
along.
middle class is dying.
you lost the middle class, right? You lost the middle class of movie making, right?
It's crazy.
And I think the pandemic it's further emphasizing those points, right? You're probably only going to risk going into the movie to see a mega blockbuster or to see an Oscar bait movie because you're like, I gotta see.
I don't know if an Oscar movie is worth seeing on the big screen because
But it doesn't-
typically
for us, it's not.
For most people it won't, and it's not about
the visual.
No, it's not. Oscar movies aren't about the box office take, right? It's about
Just the critical
it's
response.
getting the critical response, getting into the zeitgeist, and getting into the
No,
conversation.
I get
and then
that.
getting
I
and
get
then
that.
getting a little bump
What
in
I'm
the-
saying
in
though is
the-
like
in the-
as a
in the numbers.
viewer, right?
for
And
sure.
you want to see it.
Yeah.
Why would you like? There will be actually no. There will be blood. You would want to see that, but that actually I think won like best cinematography
No
that
Country
year.
Full of Men you'd want to see in theater.
Yeah, so like those ones I get, but like, what's that one with Ryan Gosling and they're singing?
La La La. Wait.
Yeah, La La La. Why would you see that in a
some
fucking
people-
movie
some people
theater?
would argue that one is worth seeing in theaters because of how it's shot, because of all the film techniques.
Ravi, now that
et
you're
cetera,
a
et
musical
cetera,
lover,
so-
That's
I
true.
assume that you would want to
So
see it in theaters.
there are a lot of quote unquote movie purists that are like, if the movie is shot a certain way and it's made for a certain presentation, it should be seen that way. Right?
Sure.
And so people will go and see those types of movies, and that there is an audience for that. And again, those movies aren't. People make those movies to win awards,
Oh,
right?
there's
Or people claim at least that they make them for the art of cinema. but
You're giving
the
me
studio
so-
greenlights it for Oscar bait, and
You're
that's
gi-
why they.
You're
release
giving me so many like good transitions. Let me use one of them.
We got a good game as well, though.
What do you mean?
So we take a look at the next few blockbusters, the next 5 blockbusters that are coming out, and you
Right.
can only pick one to go see in theaters.
Well, before
Which one do you pick?
we get there,
That's the fun
Arjuna has made a ton of good transitions from my other talking point today, which is Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins.
Say it right. Say it right. Patty Jenkins.
So Patty Jenkins came out recently at CinemaCon this past week, and during a panel,
CinemaCon?
yeah, CinemaCon, went on a little bit of a rant where she was stating that the streaming services are ruining cinema because she's not aware of what's coming out on those streaming services because it's not, to her, advertised appropriately, and therefore those movies are fake.
I hope she just chose her words incorrectly.
Like all of them?
Yeah.
So the entire statement.
Yeah, I hope the whole entire statement was just like.
A poor
Patty
choice?
Jenkins, by the way, her most recent film was Wonder Woman 1984,
So-
which got a release both box office and on HBO Max.
Yeah.
and it was also not a good movie.
So to her first point, that the streaming services don't do a great job of promoting movies, I actually don't disagree with that point, right? Because you look at like a service like Netflix, and you look at some of these other services, and then things just kind of appear a lot of the times, right? Netflix notoriously like only does a little bit of promotion for their top stuff, but there's a lot of stuff they release week over week, month over month that don't get a lot of advertising. So I actually don't disagree with that point of like the advertising isn't necessarily there, but the rest, the fact that fake movies, like, what does that even?
Well, the fact
what does that mean?
The fact that you would call like
straight to VHS movies.
the fact though that you
those
would
are
call
those are movies still. Like you can't not call them a movie.
but the fact that you would call like your fellow like directors
it's horrible.
like that their movies are fake.
Yeah.
And then the thing that just makes me laugh and chuckle a lot there is like she's making this bold claim, but then her most recent film was a gigantic flop. Like it was not a good
I think
film.
it still made money, right?
It made some money. Didn't make as much money if, pandemic wasn't a thing.
I mean, it made enough money for them to greenlight a threequel.
There's a third one coming?
Third one.
Sadly, yes.
With the duo. So with Patty and Gal Gadot.
And that will be thankfully the last one.
For now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, last one with Patty at least.
Well, for now.
Patty!
Until both of them until they both come together again in 15 years and like, let's do another one.
Do you guys want to play the game?
All right, Christian is very excited for his game.
So
here.
I've got the 9 blockbusters that are coming out in 2021 as of this moment. So there's 9. You get to pick 2 that you go to see in theaters. The rest you have to wait until mid-2022 to see. So pick carefully. These are the rules that I've set.
Wait, hold on. Do I get to see the other movies not in theaters? Like, are they going to be on a streaming service?
You don't get
you
to
have
see
to
until
wait until
2022,
mid-2022.
So I have to wait another
6 months.
year potentially. In
All
some
right,
cases.
ready? So the 9 movies are these. This is going to be a very hard choice. Eternals, Venom, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Matrix 4, 007, No Time to Die, Morbius, Ghostbusters.
Wait, back up. Morbius is the vampire one, right?
Yeah, with,
is
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Is it related to the MCU or we don't know still?
It's related to Sony, but in the trailer, Michael Keaton shows up, and it's heavily implied he is Spider-Man's Vulture.
Vulture,
A Spider-Man poster shows up with Tobey's Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of allusions to
Allusions,
previous
okay.
Spider-Man movies.
All right, last 3. Ghostbusters, Dune, and then Halloween Kills.
Oh man, Halloween Kills! I have to say that.
Got to be Halloween Kills and James
So
Bond.
in my mind, there are 4 movies. There are 4 movies here of the 9 that are probably most people are like, oh, I got to see these. You only get to pick 2 of them.
So
Which 2 are you picking?
let's go through.
I already found
Well,
one.
real quick, let's see if we all agree though on the ones we wouldn't care about seeing, right?
Okay.
So Halloween,
No.
no. James Bond,
No, I want to see it, but like
Not
I
in
don't have to
theaters.
see it in theaters.
Ghostbusters,
No, that one I would skip out. If I had to
Definitely
pick,
skip.
if I had
yeah,
to pick.
Mobius,
Mark, fuck.
Again, if I have to pick, yeah.
and then
skip.
what was
Venom.
Venom.
Yeah, Venom's the other one I wouldn't
Hell no.
bother. So then the 4 then are Matrix, Dune, No Way Home, and Eternals.
Those are the 4.
Okay, that's easy. I think it was
Which
surprising.
4?
Wait, Junior, you go first.
I think you're gonna pick Dune.
No, what are you picking?
I'm picking Dune and No Way Home.
Okay.
Those would be my 2.
I'm picking.
Reluctantly, I mean, again, you have to pick and choose here, but those would be my top 2.
My 2 are Eternals and Dune.
Eternals and Dune. Okay.
Those are the 2 you have to see in theaters. The rest can wait.
Okay.
For me. Yeah, so I'm not the biggest Bond guy. So, but
Wait, so what are your 2?
I picked Eternals and Dune. Those are
Okay.
the 2.
Dune and Matrix.
I mean,
If
not
Matrix
a
3
bad
had
choice.
been a good movie, maybe, but it wasn't.
Matrix,
So I
I've
can
waited
wait.
20 years. I can wait another year.
Yeah.
I think with that one, but that's the thing is like
That's my thinking.
Eternals,
That's mine.
Eternals and No Way Home I think are cool. But
Eternals is
I said this about Shang-Chi, like the first 2/3 of the movie, great, something different, but then it fell flat and it was just a typical Marvel movie. I still feel like Eternals and the new Spider-Man are going to be something similar where it's like, whoa, this is shiny and new, but then it will kind of be what I expect. While The Matrix, it may be a gigantic pile of garbage, but I still feel like
could be.
as a movie-going experience,
Yeah.
especially if you go like opening night, because you're going to get those like Keanu Reeves like stands type people, like huge fans.
Oh, I thought you
So
were saying
the-
you're going to get Keanu Reeves just jumping into random theaters
Maybe.
to watch it with you.
Maybe
That's what
and
I
then
want.
Dune. I've
You have to
waited.
do
I've waited. When did David Lynch come out with his nonsense? 1984. I wasn't even alive, and I've been waiting.
since
You've been
then.
I've been waiting since before life.
-6 years.
Yeah,
or
No,
-5
5
years.
Yeah.
I mean,
-5
hopefully
years.
that's a movie that feels like it's obviously big.
That's a
screen
movie
worthy.
that feels like my expectations are up there,
Too
like
high.
I did with Rogue One,
Sure.
and I will leave the theater and it will rain and I will cry.
I picked No Way Home just because it's like the ultimate, or feels like it's going to be the ultimate Spider-Man event. To me, it feels like something that's worthy of the big
Hopefully,
screen.
yeah.
It's gonna be the highest grossing movie of the year.
Ooh.
I think that's gonna be.
Ooh. Actually, I'd be so curious to see the numbers.
I think I'm curious between that and Eternals, which one. It's gonna be one of those two for sure.
I think it's Spider-Man, no question.
Dune
Eternals will do
Matrix?
well, but it's because it's a new property, and I think people still aren't entirely sure what it is.
I think
it won't do
the
as well. I think
Midwest-
Spider-Man movies always,
Yeah.
they kill at the box office.
You're bringing back Tobey
It's-
Maguire.
It's
gonna
the
be
most
amazing.
right. It's the most
Rumors.
It's the most popular Marvel IP, that's out there. Probably I guess besides the Avengers at this point. So
Ooh, yeah.
it's gonna do well, especially if all the rumors are true. Like they bring back
Do you guys want to do
800,
2022?
800
No.
people.
I
The
think
first half?
it's gonna be
Because it's pretty good.
I think it's gonna
crazy.
be. I think Spider-Man might end up being like one of the biggest troll jobs ever.
I mean, it could.
Oh,
that's the
man.
thing. It could be right.
That's why it's a skip for me.
It could be that, or it could be. It could
Incredible.
be something.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Ant-Man 2 came out and we all went to the theater and we're like, okay, it's a movie, but we all went to see that movie because we knew something was going to happen related to
Post-credit scene.
the post-credit scene. I feel like
Same thing with Captain Marvel.
I think exactly. I think Spider-Man might potentially be that. I guess it depends on what we see. Like, it really depends on what we see with the rest of these trailers. We know that Marvel loves to superimpose and replace things in their trailers and their posters, so it's very possible, Doctor Strange truly is Mephisto, in which case I will regret having to wait till 2022 to find out.
I mean, I think.
We're going to see them all.
Yeah.
All 9 of them.
I mean, unless things with the pandemic and COVID get worse, and then everything goes.
I'm not seeing Ghostbusters in the theaters. Or Morbius.
What if?
Or
What if you have
no,
to see
not
like
Venom either.
Ghostbusters? Like, in order to see these two movies, you have to see two of those other movies that you don't want to see.
Yeah, then you do it. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, put it. Yeah. I'll tell. Yeah. I mean, James Bond.
No,
still-
it's
I
either
still need to
Mobius
see
or Ghostbusters.
I still need to see.
Ghostbusters.
I still need to see Spectre. I still haven't seen the last.
Oh
James
my
Bond
god.
movie.
I haven't. I don't think I've seen
I
either.
want to
Actually,
rewatch. I want to
Yeah.
rewatch the Daniel Craig Bond. I've only seen all of them once, except for Casino Royale, which I've seen like
Quantum
3
of
times.
Solace to me was just one of those movies where they were saying words and actions were happening, but my brain
Did you
didn't
say
comprehend
accents?
Yeah.
what was going on.
Daniel
Accents.
Craig said, well, first of all, that was written during the writer's strike or made during the writer's strike. And so Daniel Craig said he was writing the script on the set because they had no writers.
So that's why it doesn't make
That's
sense.
why it doesn't make sense. And he admits to it.
So he's like, I'm a horrible writer.
I mean, that's not his
It's
thing. Like,
not-
that's not on him.
It still has some amazing
Oh, wow.
visual.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that is
That actually
awesome.
makes me like the movie now.
Yeah, it makes me want to rewatch it.
I'm a
just
Quantum
for-
of Solace fan.
Nothing beats James Bond with Pierce Brosnan and him and Sean Bean.
Trevelyan?
Yep.
Goldeneye
Is
is
it?
great.
What's
For
the
England, James?
No.
For me.
Goldeneye is a really great Bond movie. Casino Royale.
Great
is-
game too.
Casino Royale, I think,
yeah.
is still my favorite Daniel Craig movie.
That's the first one, right?
It's the first one.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig James Bond movie. I don't think I've seen a ton of other Daniel Craig
Layer Cake.
non-James
Ooh,
Bond
Layer
movies.
Cake.
Layer Cake's really good. I know people really love that movie.
Yeah. Knives Out.
Knives Out. Oh, yeah, he's in that.
Movie.
The knife
I like the-
movie.
I like
The
Knife
Knife movie.
I mean, he's
Oh,
going to be in the
man.
sequel with.
He's gonna be in 2 through 5. Yeah.
There's that many.
Netflix is the one that ended up getting the rights for the Knives Out sequels, and they've commissioned like a bunch of them.
Wait, are they going to be straight to Netflix?
Knives Out in the Arctic. Knives Out with the pig.
Wait,
Do you remember Tropic Thunder?
Can we get Patty Jenkins to comment on Knives Out straight to Netflix? What
It was
the
an
fuck?
Oscar movie.
what?
It was an Oscar movie, the first
Netflix
one.
not advertising.
Yeah.
We already know about 5 of their movies.
That's true.
Boom.
But see, they only advertise for their top. Like they'll advertise the shit out of Stranger Things or Bridgerton or.
Well, what
that's
they
what
do.
makes them the money.
Well, no,
Right, but
their
the other stuff
marketing
they want.
plan is basically they put everything out and then they see what social likes,
Yep.
and then whatever social's liking, then they put the money behind it,
Correct.
which is smart. Like
smart.
it's using organic, and then they don't have to. That way, they're not blindly throwing marketing dollars at everything.
And their business model too is to always operate from debt.
yeah,
It's smart because
Very
then
smart.
Because if you're always in debt, you'd have no money to ever give anyone.
Yeah. Then also the standards are super low. Like, oh, we didn't make money this year. Whoopsie.
But we didn't make money last year.
How do they pay their people? How does someone get paid that company?
So like Disney, Tesla, and like Apple, like you've got those people that love those companies.
Yeah.
They only hire people that truly love Netflix.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So you want to work for Netflix? You pay us because we have debts to pay.
Oh my God.
No,
Are
the
they operating
deal.
in
The
China?
deal is your $12 subscription to Netflix is actually $10 as an employee.
Ooh. Yeah.
I wonder.
Worth it.
I wonder if they offer their employees free Netflix or if it's like, nah, you still gotta fucking pay. Because
would love to
Disney doesn't offer Disney Plus to their employees. They have to
That's
pay for
insane.
it.
That's ridiculous.
That's like what the fuck. Like same with the
$1 billion
ESPN Plus, all of it.
company.
Like they don't offer it.
That's
You get
Okay.
free Spotify if you work for Spotify.
And Arjuna uses fucking Apple Music. Got it.
Well, I don't have a Spotify phone, do I? I have an Apple phone.
There's a Spotify device you can get for your car that Spotify makes that it connects to your phone, but then it's just like a piece of hardware that just shows the Spotify. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever.
Wow, I'm a Spotify employee and I didn't know that. So
Yeah, I just saw it the
There
other
you go.
day. I don't think you guys do good at advertising.
how dare you slander?
Before we get out of here, Matrix 4, we got the teaser today. Yeah, supposedly there's 180,000 variants of this fucking teaser trailer.
Because Loki opened up the multiverse, right? So we get infinite possibilities.
correct.
Based on the teaser,
That's
Trina,
right.
have you watched the teaser yet?
I haven't. I wanted to keep it pure and fresh for Thursday. I figured someone shouldn't watch the teaser.
Okay, so
We're about to spoil it for you.
we're about to spoil it. So
I
the
didn't see
scene,
it.
the scene
Oh,
opens
fair.
with someone talking, and then the familiar green dropping driplet texts, and then
Zeros and the
droppings?
ones.
and then there's people looking at themselves in the mirror, and then there's some action sequence, and then there's Keanu with long hair, and then ta-da! That's kind
So
of
it's
it.
Bill and Ted 4?
Well,
No.
the thing
it looks
that
like John Wick.
the
4.
thing that's funny and interesting is he filmed both The Matrix and John Wick 4 like back to back. And based on what I saw in terms of how Keanu looks, it's very clear. Yes, he has the John Wick, the John Wick
he
look.
looks. He's absolutely John.
So it's almost like the two. I mean, I believe it's both Warner Brothers, right, for John Wick and Matrix.
I mean, so wasn't that supposed to be? That was supposed to be a Keanu day. Like both movies were supposed to be released on the same day.
I think they
and they were
still
gonna have
might
it,
be.
They were going to name it Keanu Reeves Day because John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 was.
They
supposed
should
to
have
come out
just
at the same
dropped
time.
like Bill and Ted 4 too. Like they should have just fast tracked a forquel to that franchise and also released it on the
Okay,
same
so
day.
yeah, John Wick 4 has been pushed back
Yeah.
to May 27th of 2022, and then
So we should push
Matrix,
4
4
to May 27th. of
No, I want to
2022
see
as well.
it.
No, because then it doesn't have to be one of your two movies, you know?
I love how that we've actually put that limitation out there, and
You know what?
Now we're still picking.
I'm gonna go see it on Christmas Eve by myself.
Nice.
No, that should be our Christmas Eve movie.
You should take Megatron.
Matrix 4. That will be real.
Actually, that'd be
nutty.
awesome.
At night.
That would be awesome. I mean, Matrix is such a defining movie for so many people. People our age, like it was such a defining movie, at least for me.
Yeah,
It came out in 99, 2000.
99.
I think the first one came out in the 90s.
Yeah, so, so it's
99,
like-
and then it was 2002, and then 2004.
oh, for the sequels.
Yep.
Wow, so the 99 had a Phantom Menace and the Matrix.
Yes.
Peak,
one of those.
peak of Hollywood back then.
One of those was
Couldn't get
very
better.
good, and
And the other was
those-
Matrix.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
one of
no.
those was.
Do you take the blue
Matrix.
pill or the red pill? Misa don't know.
First of all, Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord.
Misa have a drug problem now.
So I was
Maybe
talk-
it's that Lord.
so I was talking to someone who was a young child, and the kid asked about Star Wars. And,
Star Wars?
and the guy, the person I was talking to was like, he was like really struggling to figure out what order
Oh,
to show his kid the Star Wars movies, right? Because like if you start with the true, right, if you start with the theatrical order and you go 4, kids are going to probably find episode 4 boring. It's a movie that's almost 50 years old at this point.
right.
It's kind of slow. The graphics are bad. Like it's not going to hold the attention of a kid most likely.
The kids who grew up with
Right.
iPads are going to find that movie.
Right.
very
If you
boring.
start with episode 7, you're just setting up the child for failure in life. You know, like you're showing them.
Arjuna, this is Star Wars, not Godfather.
But then it's like, oh, do I start with episode 1 then? Because like episode 1 is like the most made for children.
So I'll say this.
Also, from there.
I'll say this.
That is true.
I think that's a problem on the parents.
Sure.
For allowing their kids to be so hyperactive in terms of the content they're consuming. Anyone has the capacity, for the most part, to sit and watch something like Star Wars. It's just a matter of what you've been exposed to. So if they've been exposed to, you know, the current forms of content right now, which unfortunately is very like quick, go, TikToks,
Instagram,
6-second content. Yeah, you're right. I don't think anyone at 6 years old or however old the kid is going to find 4, 5, or 6 interesting. That being said, though, the nice thing with Star Wars and where the world's going is Star Wars will probably never be not a thing.
Sure.
So they may show them episodes 1, 2, 3, and that kid will grow up being like, my parents like dumb shit. And then when that kid is older and has the attention span to sit there, they may rediscover it. So I wouldn't get too confused where to start. I would say do it in the theatrical release, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then that's it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, the proper order
If
is
you're gonna-
4, 5, 6. Skip the first 3, then don't watch the last 3.
Oh man, spoken like a true boomer.
I think the true order is just episode 5. And,
I mean, some people say
the order that I've watched and I saw before episode 7 came out, which was I found really fun to watch, was 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. Because during that order, you don't ruin the twists. Like you do 4, 5, you see Darth Vader go, Luke, I am your father. Then you basically have 3 movie flashback of how he became to be Darth Vader. So now you put 2 and 2 together. Anakin is Darth Vader. Who? What? You see this, and then you come back to 6. I watched that with our parents, mom and dad, before episode 7 came out. We did it in 2 months. Each weekend, we just banged out one of those movies. It was so much fun, and I appreciated 1, 2, and 3.
Narrative,
the most ever in that order.
But I also wonder too, like, because people have talked about that a lot, like, oh, about the Darth Vader reveal. I'm like, but even for me growing up, I don't ever remember a moment in my life where I was like, oh, Darth Vader is Anakin's.
You just knew.
I just knew it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
true.
also part of like the cultural phenomenon of Star Wars, like. Even if you don't watch the movies, like that's just probably a fact you're gonna pick up like with other kids, and like if you talk
it's gonna
about
be in the textbooks.
Darth Vader, right? And like, oh, it's Anakin's father, like, you know, just knowing characters and stuff. Like, I think it's just I feel like you just would know it.
Cartoons use it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like it's part of that.
Even using that, they're gonna be on Google and see a meme.
Yeah,
they'll just see a meme.
sure.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that is.
Like,
Watching Star Trek 2 or Star Wars 2. That's the case.
well, yeah, that's on the parents to get them indoctrinated into Star Wars. 2 or 3 years old. Get them at 2 years old.
Or just do it how Arjuna and I did when we watched episode 7. Lock yourself in a theater with a bunch of other sweaty individuals.
Oh my
and then watch
God.
1,
You
2, 3,
guys
4, 5, 6, 7.
are
And then
nuts.
while you're watching it, you sleep through all of episode 1, most of episode 2. You wake up for the big clone battle at the end. You watch episode 3. You kind of half-ass it for 4. You're in it for 5. 6, you're like, let's hurry up and fucking go. 7 comes, and then you're like, oh, okay. That wasn't worth it.
And then
Worst
I
movie
got
experience
104-degree temperature.
And then Arjuna got the flu.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I got COVID in 20.
Can you imagine doing that today with COVID?
No, I don't think movie marathons are going to come back.
And they
soon.
shouldn't have even been a thing in the first place. That's awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Don't look
Awful.
behind you, Krishna.
Oh, I know.
With that, I think it's time for us to get out. But before we get out, I want your bold, most idiotic predictions in terms of come December, are theaters in this current climate with COVID and all the variants and healthcare concerns, are we going to see the current box office films that are coming out, the 9 that Krishna had mentioned? I want to hear, do you think all are going to stay in place? And then number 2, do you actually think we will see the big ones that we want to see, the Dune, the Matrix, the No Way Home, and the Eternals in theaters, or are those going to be at-home releases?
I'm going to say all 4 of those do come out in theaters, but I would say not all 9 of the movies that you mentioned will come out in theaters. Like I think a movie like Morbius gets pushed. I think like
It should just get canceled.
I think Bond has also been pushed enough times too, where I'm like I could see that being pushed again.
The Bond one, is that going to be? That's Warner Brothers, right?
No, that's MGM,
Okay, so there's
which
no
is now
streaming
owned
release.
by.
Amazon.
So it's an Amazon movie.
So they could just dump it on Amazon Prime. Be
Could
like,
put it on Prime.
whatever.
Could put it on Prime, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
So
Yeah, I second that. I think with Shang-Chi, I don't think we see the Disney movies budge at all. They've got the theaters on lock. People are going to go see those. I think Dune will stay where it is. Honestly, I'm gonna throw Matrix 4 in with the rest of them. I think everything else could move. I don't think they all move, but I think some of them will.
I think
I actually think Matrix 4 might get moved,
Yeah.
because the other three are staying where they're at, and they at some point the studios will realize people are being selective
Right.
with what they see. You can't have this many blockbusters all at once,
Right.
and they do well because people can't afford to see them.
right, people will be like October is Dune, November is Eternals,
Yeah.
December is Spider-Man.
And that's as much risk as I'm
That's it.
allowing to me and my.
I think Dune and I think Matrix get moved. Dune is on Max, but they can still push it. I mean, they can do whatever they want. They've HBO and Warner Brothers have shown they'll do whatever they feel like doing.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at like the current movies too, because there's been like, what, F9 was the big movie of June.
Yep.
Black Widow was the big movie of July. Free Guy was the big movie of August. Shang-Chi for September. So it feels like it's like one big.
So then the big
movie
one
per
could be
month.
Dune for October, because that's
But
the
it's
only.
the end of October too. October
Yeah.
22nd.
So that could take too long.
could be Venom.
Doubtful.
No,
October 1st.
Venom's. So
Are you actually gonna go see Venom?
TBD.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. It's a huge yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, June's got means.
Oh wow.
June's got methods.
And with that, we're going to close out the pod here. Our next pod is going to be this Friday, where Arjuna unfortunately won't be with us because he decided that he hates us. No, he has other things to do. So Lauren will be special guest hosting as we break down Hamilton and give it a review for Krishna. We'll also break down the new Matrix trailer, Matrix 4 trailer, and a couple other talking points, so definitely tune into that. We will be live on youtube.com/wasitgood, so be sure to follow us also on Twitter at wasitgood to find out what time. We are on TikTok and Instagram at wasitgoodpod, and our website wasitgood.info has a newsletter coming shortly. Goodbye.
Goodbye. By the way, if we're having Lauren on Friday, we should probably do Ted Lasso.